Well, on this Connect to the Capitol Extra, we are talking about protecting South Carolina's children. Going on 3 years now, the Attorney General, Alan Wilson, and his office have been pursuing a measure at the State House to help them better zero in on online predators that are targeting Palmetto State's children in some nefarious ways. Seems like a no-brainer of a bill to pass, but here we are with 3 days left in the legislative session, and still we haven't reached the finish line. The Attorney General himself, Alan Wilson, joining us to talk about this today. We've talked about this at length the past few weeks. Where are we sitting right now?
Well, right now, Brian, we're on the 2-yard line. It's been 3 years since we started pushing this bill as a law enforcement tool and resource to better protect South Carolina's children. We've gotten it to the 2-yard line. We're so close. We have a really good chance of getting this thing passed into the governor's desk, which will make prosecuting and going after people who exploit children so much easier for law enforcement and prosecutors. So we really need the House to pass the Senate version of the Administrative Subpoena Bill that will give us the tools and resources we need to better go after child exploiters.
What at this point has been the pushback on this? Because as I noted, it seems like this is something that everyone would get behind because we're talking about vulnerable children.
Yes. So again, I'm not going to question the motives of people who are in opposition to the bill. I believe most people who have not supported the bill that we want are doing so because they don't understand it. There are people in the House who believe that this could be invasive of people's privacy rights, that it would give the government the ability to go in and get your private information without a detached judge signing off on a warrant. That's not what this bill is about. It doesn't expand the scope or powers of the government. Basically, it allows us to do what the United States Attorney already has the authority to do under federal law, but it allows the Attorney General to do it under state law. And this is basically what the Administrative Subpoena Bill does. When someone commits the crime of exploiting a child by uploading or downloading or transmitting or manufacturing child porn, child sex abuse material, we often don't know the identity of the individual. We see a screen name, or there might be an IP address or an email address that we get as a tip, but we don't know who the subscriber is to that information. So this allows us for the Attorney General, me, to sign a subpoena that will go to the internet service provider like Google or Charter Spectrum, and it will give us the person who is using the IP address, the email, or the screen name. This is no different, Brian. If you recall, back in the old days, we used to have big phone books, in the kitchen by the phone that had everyone's name next to their telephone number. Well, this is basically what it is. It's giving us the name of the person registered to the number, or in this case, the IP address or the email or the screen name. And it doesn't mean that that's the person who is doing the crime. It doesn't even give us access to the content. We can't get emails. We can't get your personal text messages. It just gives us the subscriber information. Right now, it can take up to several weeks to several months for us to get that basic information. And that is when the investigation begins. And when you're talking about a child who is possibly being exploited in real time, waiting several weeks and several months is not an option. We can get that information in a day or two, and that's what that bill would do. It would cut out the red tape and allow us to go after those people who are hurting children more quickly.
You have a unit in your office that deals specifically with these type of internet crimes. We know how serious this is. People watching, what can they do to be part of the solution here to keep all these kids safer?
If you're watching this right now, call or email your state House member, because there's only going to be 2 days left in session, and tell them to support Senate Bill 74, which is called the Administrative Subpoena Bill. Tell them they need to pass the Senate version. The House put some amendments on it that watered it down. We need the Senate version. Just call or email your House member and say, please support Senate Bill 74, the Administrative Subpoena Bill, in the Senate version, not the House version. That will make it easier for us to go after people who hurt children.
This proposal, is it modeled after some other states? Are we lagging behind in terms of having the authority to do what you want to do?
Well, it models after the federal system, which allows the U.S. attorney, the United States attorney, who can do this already at the federal system. But when you're going to the federal system to have them help us, it can be cumbersome and it can be bureaucratic. There's also an administrative process. You can go to a judge in state court, but that can take weeks and months depending on the time of the year. Like, if, for instance, if a child was being exploited and we got a tip about that in early December, Well, during the holidays, it's very difficult to lock down judges. It's very difficult to get these processes moving, and it could be January at the earliest before we even get the information we need to begin investigating this case. So the Administrative Subpoena Bill will get us to the start line faster so that we can begin an investigation into child exploitation faster.
Attorney General Alan Wilson, in all aspects of this particular situation, time is of the essence when it comes to investigating these crimes, and time is definitely of the essence when it comes to getting this done before the end of this legislative session this week. I want to thank you again, as always, for joining us. We always enjoy having you here. Serious issue, and best of luck as you push forward here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us for this Connect to the Capitol Extra. You heard what the Attorney General had to say. If this is of interest to you, make that phone call.